All right, good day, guys. How you guys doing? So it's my special, and if it's the first time I'm coming to my YouTube channels, kindly subscribe and do not forget to turn on the notification bell in case I post any video. You will always be notified. So today we'll be talking about our instantaneous velocity calculations. Calculation that has to do with instantaneous velocity and speed. Everybody all knows that speed is distance over time, right? And velocity is displacement over time. And when it comes to uh, average velocity is just like your total displacement over total time. That is total time for you to displace and the time taken for you to be. I get my point. And the word instantaneous means that things at that instant of time. I get my point now. So now let's dive into these questions and we should be able to solve one or two. So if you can solve one or two, three to four and five. So I feel like anytime you meet in any of your exam, you will always, get it. So just follow me. See, when it comes to physics is actually very, very simple. It's very, very simple. Why? Because what? Because what? You just have to know the principles that is behind every aspect. Look at this. Given that the displacement of a body is described by the equation s is equal to ct plus dt square, where c is 2 meters per second, d is 0.1 meter per second, while s is in meter and t is in seconds. That means we are given that why our s is in meter and our t seconds, right? That means that let's try to write this equation outside. So this equation is what is equal to s is equal to what ct, right, plus dt square. I get my point. But we were told that our s is in meter, right? That means our t is what is seconds. That means our s can be displacement, which is meter or distance, because the unit of displacement is meter, while the unit of a what of a distance also meter. But we are given that the displacement, that means our s is the displacement, and our t is also the seconds, right? Which is time. Now we are given the value of c and d. Now if you check the value of c is what? It is 2 meters per second, while the value of d is what? Is 0.1 meter per second. So with this, I believe that you'll be able to solve it. See, when you see a question like this, the first thing you have to do is that pick out your equation that you write. Now, I was given this equation. What is the next thing? Check. We are told that our s is meter, so we are good to go. We are told that our t is what? It is time. Like yes, seconds time. And we are given the value of c and d. So the remaining other thing is just for me to what? To solve. So you guys check now. You have to look for two things. You have to look for calculate the displacement between time t is 2 seconds and time t is 5 seconds. And you also ask to what? To also calculate the average velocity. Whenever you are calculating the displacement between something, you will first calculate when it is t is 2 seconds and when our t is also what? 5 seconds. Are you getting my point? And if you guys remember from your elementary physics, that displacement is a distance cover in a specified directions. Tolu buy me chicken pie at Chicken Republic. That means I told Tolu to do what? To buy me something, right, from Chicken Republic. That means what? Tolu has a magnitude, that this it has where it's going to, and he also have a direction. But now if I just give Tolu buy me biscuits, and I don't give Tolu a direction, that is distance. That is why distance is separation between 2 points. Why displacement? It is what? Distance cover in a specific directions. That is why displacement is a vector quantities and our distance is what? Is a scalar quantities. That is why we are always saying that anything that has both magnitude and direction is what? Is vector. Why the one that has only magnitude but does not have a direction is what? Distance. Now you have to look for the what? Calculate the displacement between this guy, between time t is 2 seconds and our time t is what? Is 5 seconds. And you are also asked to calculate what? Your average velocity. Now I told you guys that the first thing you have to do is what? Calculate when your time t is 2 seconds first. Calculate when your time t is what? 5 seconds. So after calculating it, now subtract it. Are you getting my point now? That is what we want to do here. Now the second one is average velocity. Now what is average velocity? Average velocity, it is always what? Total distance, total displacement over what? Over total time taken. Are you getting my point? It's always what? My average velocity is always, this is symbol for average velocity. we have something like this, right? This only what total displacement, right, over total time taken, over total what time taken. I get my point. That means we can also represent it like mathematically that our so right because what change in x over change in time. I get my point. That means, and the word change in mathematics means what? That means the bigger one and the smaller one, right? That means I'm going to have what? I'm going to have what everybody? I'm going to have s2, right? Minus s1 over what? Over t2 minus t1. So this is what? This is average velocity. This is formula for average velocity. So as you can see, you are given s is ct plus dt square, and you are given that where s is 2 meter and d is 0.1 meter. So what are you going to do? Let's just try to replace it. Let's go. You are going to have what? X is equal to what? Everybody, what's c? C is what? It is 2. What I have t, right? Plus everybody, like, what is d? D is 0.1. I have what? I have t squared there. Now the first question, if you can remember, I given that where t is 2 seconds and where t is what is 5 seconds. Now we're now asked to look for the what? Look for the displacement between them, right? So what are you going to do? Just substitute when t, that is when t, just see that when t is 2 seconds. Let's do that is what s is equal to what? 2 times what? Times 2, right? Plus what? 0.1 times everybody, what's t? That's 2 square, right? That's going to be what? 2 times 2 is what? It is 4. Plus 0.1 times that is 4, right? That's going to s is equal to what? 4 plus 0.4. And that's going to give us what? 4.4. Because our s is in meter, so our unit is going to be what? Meter. So now this is when our what? Our s is our that be like this is when our t is 2 seconds. Now let's try it for where when our t is 5 seconds. That's going to be what? S is equal to everybody. What's 5? What's t is 5? That's going 2 times 5, right? Plus what? 0.1 times 5 square. Are you getting my point? That's going to be s is equal to what? 2 times 5 is 10 plus 0.1 times 25, right? That's going to be what? S is equal to 10 plus 0.1 times, that's what? 2.5, right? That's going to give us what? 12.5 meter. Now you can see that we have done the calculation for when our s is 2 seconds and when our s is what? Is 5 seconds. So what is now going to be your final answer? I told you guys that they asked us to look for this placement between, that is, that's going to be what? Our s naught, which is our displacement between, is going to be what? Which one is the bigger one? We have 12.5 and we have what? 4.5, right? That means our when, that means when our s is, that's going to be what? Everybody, that's going to be what? That's going to be sorry, that's going to be 12.5, right? Minus what? Minus 4.5. Sorry, minus 4.4. Now that's going to give us what? Everybody. I just do the calculation and tell me the answer. I'm waiting to know. That's going to be what? That's going to be 8.1, right? That's going to be 8.1 meter. So this is displacement between when our t is 2 seconds and see, they can ask you in any form. Just try to solve it for them. I get my point. So it's very, very easy. Now let's go to the second aspect, which is the average velocity. Let's try to solve the question again. This is our average velocity. I told you guys that average velocity represents with something like this, right? Now we're now asked to look for the average velocity between this. And if you guys can remember that, I told you that our average velocity is always what? It's always something like this, right? Our change in s or our change in time, right? That is total displacement over total time. That's going to give us what? Average velocity is going to what? S2 minus what? Minus S1 over what? T2 minus T1. Now if you guys can recall, when we are solving the question at that time, that our we get our s2 to be what? To be 12.5. If you guys remember, I did like the bigger one, right? And also our s1 to be what? To be 4.4 meter, right? So now what are you going to do? And we are given our t1. That means this one, this guy will go for the smaller one. That's t1. Our t1 is what? 2 seconds, while our t2 is what? It is 5 seconds. Now, can you start? We can solve this question now. Very, very easy. Let's go. That's going to be what? Average velocity is what? Everybody, what's our S2? That's 12.5, right? Minus 4.4 over what? Over 5 minus 2. Everybody, what is the difference between 12.5 minus 4.4? That's 8.1. Ah, over 5 minus 2 is what? It is 3 seconds. Everybody, help me to divide it. Now, that's going to be what? 2.7 meter. That's going to be what? 2.7. Now, if you guys check that, our this one is meter per second. That's going to be what? Meter per second. So our average velocity is what? It is 2.7 meter per second. So this is the questions. So I will solve one more question, and I believe that you guys will be able to get any aspect from this question. A particle move along the x-axis. According to the expressions, s is equal to what? S is equal to what? 3t square minus what? Minus 2t. Where s is in meters and t is in seconds. What is the displacement of the particles? I believe that everybody can solve this one, right? But let's try to solve it. Let's go. So what is there between time t is equal to 0? So when time t is 0, right? S is going to be what? 3 into bracket what? 0 square, right? Minus what? Minus 2 into bracket 0 square. That means everything will be what? Everything will be 0, right? Now, if you check the second aspect also, it's also very, very easy. We are given s is equal to what? 3t square minus 2t, right? So when t is equal to what? 1 seconds. So t is equal to what? 1 seconds. So that's going to be s is by what? 3 is bracket 1 square minus what? 2 bracket what? 1. Alright? So that's going to be what? That's going to be s is equal to what? 3. 1 square is 1 also. And 3 times 1 is what? Is 1. Minus 2 times 1 is what? 2. S is equal to what? 1. I'm having 1 meter and 0 meter. So my S naught, which is my displacement, because they're asking for the displacement or the particles of the time interval between. So S naught is equal to what? S2 minus S1. Anyway, what is S2? S2 is what? S2 is what? S2 is 1 minus 0. That's what? Our final answer is what? Is 1 meter. So our S displacement, our S naught is what? Is 1 meter. Did you get it now? So now let's try to solve the second aspect of this. So now we have to calculate the average velocity. I told you guys the other time that average velocity is always what I'm having. My average velocity is always what? Change in x over what? Over change in time, right? So that's going to be what? My average velocity will be s2 minus what? Minus s1 over what? T2 minus what? Minus t1, right? So average velocity is equal to what? What's my s2, everybody? Oh, I calculated my s2 the other time to be what? My s2 to be 1 meter, if you guys remember, and my s1 to be what? To be 0 meter, if you guys remember. And my t2 is what? It is 1 from this place. And my t1 is what? My t1 is what? It is 0. So that's going what anyway, what's S2? S2 is 1 minus what's S1? 0. But what's T2? T2 also was 1 minus 0. That's going to be what? 1 meter. 1 minus 0 is what? Is 1. Right? 1 minus 0 is what? Is 1. 1 minus 0 is also 1. 1 divided by 1 is what? 1 meter per second. Do you guys get me now? Now let's go to the final questions. We say that we should look for the what? The instantaneous velocity. Now I told you guys that the word instantaneous, what does it mean? Instantaneous means what? At that time, at that particular what time. That is now. So the last question said that what? Find instantaneous velocity. The word instantaneous velocity means what? Is the velocity at an instant of time, that is at that particular time. Now I told you guys that average velocity is always this, right? Change in s over change in t, right? Now for our instantaneous velocity is always v equals what? The s over the t. Why? Here we want to differentiate here. I get my point. That means everybody know that my normal stuff that they gave me is what? It is 3t square minus what? Minus 2t. That means now if I want to do the instantaneous velocity of this, I need to differentiate this. I get my point. But if you don't know how to differentiate, it's very, very simple. Now, general law. Now, if I have something like this in calculus, if I have y is equal to what? As all is power n. Now, if you want to differentiate it now with respect to what? To n. Sorry. So like this n is called power. This a is called what? Is called a coefficient. And why this s is called what? Is called base. Now, if I want to differentiate it now, I will say that the y over the s, because I'm differentiating with respect to what? To s. The y over the s is called to what? This is my normal formula that I use. I will say that multiply the power by the coefficient. Again, multiply the what? The power by the coefficient. What's the variable? The power is what? It is n, right? Times the coefficient. Repeat the base. Which one is base? X. And reduce the power by 1. That's going to be what? N minus 1. Again, multiply the power by the coefficient. Repeat the base. And reduce the power by 1. So this is so I'm going to have what? An s is by what? N minus 1. Did you get it? Now, let me give you another example. If I am giving this example, if you are given what is the dimension of 2x square, what am I going to do? Multiply the power by the coefficient. Everybody, what's the power? 2. What's coefficient? 2. What's the base? X. Multiply the power by the coefficient. That's that 2 times 2. Repeat the base and reduce the power by 1. 2 minus 1. That is what? 4s raised by what? 2 minus 1 is what? 1. So this is our stuff. So now what we are going to do in instantaneous velocity is that we want to differentiate. Anytime you ask to look for instantaneous velocity, always what? Always differentiate. Now we want to differentiate 3t squared minus 2t. Let's go everybody. Multiply the power. What's for everybody? The power is what? Is 2. 2 times 3 is what? Is 6. That's 60. Then that's what? Multiply the power by the coefficient. That's 2 times 3, right? Repeat the base and use the power by 1. That's 2 minus 1. Minus, there's 1 here that is invisible. Multiply the power by that's 1 times 2, right? Repeat the base and this power, that's 1 minus 1. Hmm? That's going to be what? 6. I mean now. 3 raised by what? 2 minus 1 is what? It is 1. Minus what? 2. And 3 raised by what? 1 minus 1 is 0. And any raised by 0 in the mathematics is what? It is 1. Abi now. So that's going to be what? 60 minus what? Minus 2. 2 times 1. Abi. That's going to be what? 60 minus what? Minus 2. Now, so we are not told that where t is equal to what? Where t is 3 seconds. That means anywhere I see t, I'm going to do what? I'm going to put what? 3 seconds. So what do you think the answer will be? So the answer is going to be what? 60 minus 2. That's going to be what? 6 times 3. That's 6 times 3 minus 2. 6 times 3 is what? Minus 2. So, and get your answer. That's 18. 18 minus 2 is what? Is 16. So, 16 meter per second. So, that's the final answer. So, now I'm going to solve the last question for today, and I believe that everybody all gets it. I believe that everybody all gets it. All right, so this is our next question. So, we're given that the position of a particle is given by s is equal to what? S is equal to what? 3 minus 2t plus what? Plus 3t squared. So what is instantaneous velocity? I told you guys that when it comes to average velocity, average is like you are showing the differences between abi now. That is s2 minus s1 over s over t2 minus t1. But for instantaneous velocity, you will differentiate. And I've taught you guys how to differentiate the other times. So now, and when it comes to differentiation, whenever we are differentiating 3, 2, 1, 1,000, 1,000,000, that's any constant that does not have any alphabets in between, it will be 0. That is, now if I differentiate 3 now, the answer will be what? Will be 0. So my instantaneous velocity v instantaneous will be the s over what? Over the t, right? Because what? If you differentiate 3, that's what? That's 0. Minus, if I differentiate 2t, that's going to be what? Everybody, because there's 1 here, right? So 1 times 2 is what? It is 2. Repeat the base and reduce power by 1. That's 1 minus 1, right? Plus 2 times 3 is what? It is 60. 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1, right? So that's going to be what? 0 minus 2t all raised by what? Because 1 minus 1 is 0. Plus 6 raised by what? 2 raised by what? 1. So 3 raised by 1. So from there, this one is already 0, right? 0. But the minus will still be there. That's going to be what? Minus 2. 3 raised by 0. And 3 raised by 0 is what? It is 1, right? So 2 times 1 is what? It is 1. Plus 60. So my final answer is what? Minus 2 plus what? Plus 60. Now, you're not told that given at t is called 3 seconds. It's very, very simple. Just input 3. That's going to what? Minus 2 at t is what? 3 seconds. So that's minus 2 plus what? 6 times what? Times 3. Very, very simple. That's what? Minus 2 plus what? 6 times 3 is what? It is 18. Minus 2 plus 18. Minus 2 plus 18. Minus means that you are owing the person 2 naira and you have 20 naira. So if you give the person the 2 naira back, so you still have what 16 naira left. That's going to be what 16 meter per second, because the unit for velocity is what meter per second. Do you guys get it now? Now for our instantaneous acceleration, because we are asked to look for what instantaneous velocity and acceleration, that is what is instantaneous was velocity, what is instantaneous was acceleration. Now for instantaneous acceleration, you will differentiate twice. Why? Because what, see, velocity is what is the displacement over time, abi now, while acceleration is what is increase in velocity over time. That is, you are going to differentiate what twice. That is why the unit for displacement is meter, right, over what time is second. That's what meter per seconds. Now the unit for velocity is what is meter per seconds, right, from here. Now the unit for time is what, seconds. That is very good. That's meter per second square. Have you seen that we need to differentiate this guy twice before we can get this? And we can also do it also like this. Now let's try to differentiate this meter per seconds. Everybody know that there is 1 here, right? 1 times, oh yeah, multiply the power by the quantity. That's what 1 times m abi, repeat the base and reduce power by 1. That's what -1 minus 1, right? 1 times m, that's what ms is by what -2. Have you seen now that when we differentiate meter per second, we get what meter per second square, which is for what, which is for acceleration. That is why if you are told to calculate acceleration, hmm, and you are given your normal displacement, so you have to differentiate first for velocity, and you will now differentiate second for what, for acceleration. Now, to do for our instantaneous acceleration, everybody know that what, for our v instantaneous is what, it is 3 minus 2t, right, plus 3t square. Now when I differentiated my v instantaneous, it gave me what, everybody remember now, 0 abi now, minus 2 plus what, plus 60. Now if I now want to differentiate this guy again, because now I'll be doing what, the v over the t, because v is what, it is velocity over time. That means what, that means I need to differentiate what, minus 2 plus 60. Now if I differentiate minus 2 plus, because now if I remember minus, I told you guys the other time that if I differentiate any constant, constant will always give me 0. Now if I differentiate minus 2 will give me what, will give me what, 0. That's what, 0 plus. Now if I differentiate 60, right, there's 1 here. 1 times 6 is what, 6. Reduce power by 1, that's what, 1 minus 1. That's what 6 times 3 is by what, 0. I know. And then 3 is by 0 is what, it is 1. So 6 times 1 is what, it is 6. That means the final answer here will be 6. That's what, 0 plus 6. I mean, that's 6. Now at time t is what 3. Because you are told that what is instantaneous velocity and acceleration at time t is what, 3 seconds for instantaneous velocity, and that means at time t for instantaneous velocity is still what, it is 6. I get my point. So that's the question. Now the second question is saying that at what time is the particle at rest? So at what time is the particle at rest? So the particles will always be at rest when our v instantaneous is what, it is 0. I get my point. So now if you guys remember that our v instantaneous velocity, it is what, it is what, from, if you remember, like from here, from v is equal to ds over the t, right, which is 3 minus 2t plus what, 3t square. And when we differentiated this, what do we have? We have what, we have minus 2, right, minus 2 plus 60. Now since our v instantaneous is 0, that means this guy will be 0. That's what, 0 is equal to what, minus 2 plus what, plus 60, right? Now if I cross this guy to this place, if I cross it, that means this guy will change from minus to positive. That's what, plus 2 is equal to what, 60. Now what is stopping my t? That's 6. That means I need to divide both sides by 6. That's over 6 and over 6, right? So I will have what, t is equal to what, 2 over 6. 2 here 1, 2 here was 3. That's 1 over what, that's 1 over 3. I get my point. Or what, or 0 point what, 0.333 seconds. So this is our last. So please, I want you guys to solve a lot of questions. So we have come to the end of this video. Please kindly subscribe and share to your friends, and do not forget to turn on your notification bell in case I post any video. You will always be notified. Please, I want you guys to share this to your friend. Your friend actually need this. If you are a first year university student or you are a jam student, please, I want you guys to do so. And don't worry, we post a lot of videos on these channels. And please, I want you guys to support me. And the way in which you can actually support me is by sharing this video. And please make sure that you guys solve a lot of practice questions.